All right, welcome back to Gaggling Broads. How are you doing, Savannah? Concussed?
I'm actually very relaxed right now because you two lovely people gifted me a massage.
Bailey's acting like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew about this
Shop
gift.
for it all day.
So, yeah, I got another concussion this week.
You're kidding, right? This is like a bit.
Well, I didn't go to the doctor and they didn't tell me, but I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
She ran the concussion protocol.
Well, you kind of had two issues in one day.
Yeah, and then I got in a car accident and got a little whiplash.
Savannah.
Yeah.
Savannah, you gotta stay home.
Yeah, probably, and just wear
a bubble suit.
Yeah,
for
at
sure,
this
a bubble
point, and a
suit.
helmet because this head.
For sure, a helmet.
Yeah,
Like
At
those
this point.
skydiving helmets.
but I mean, outside
You're like
of
my
that,
son. You just Becca walks around with a helmet on all the time.
Well, he's prepared.
He's prepared for war.
Well, you hear a familiar face, and now you actually see Lindsay. She's our monthly broad. I feel like you're on every fourth episode, but
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Give the people what they want.
And then there's
yeah.
this guy. The kids-
Saturn, Uranus came here.
Yeah, Saturn, Uranus.
Went with the bozo ring today.
Yeah, you wanted hair. You gave yourself a bozo ring. But this is my husband. The kids are asleep, and I couldn't make up an excuse for why he can't be on.
I've been working for this for months, and I'm
Since the
so
very beginning.
so happy to finally be here. The number of bits that I ran past them, characters.
Oh my gosh.
I gave up my full-time job just to try to get on the Gaggling
yes.
Broads podcast, and all it took was getting both kids to go to sleep at the same time.
You didn't even get them both to sleep. It was me.
Amy got him to sleep. I witnessed it.
Yeah, you were outside.
Queenie, you were washing your wife's car.
I was.
Vacuuming.
you were
was.
doing that.
With a drill bit, actually.
Well, that's what you do with black SUVs,
Yes, that's right.
as the trend is saying, which I think is pretty accurate.
Oh,
I laughed really hard at that one.
You're like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm both. I'm a gray, which I have a gray car.
That's true.
okay.
Before we get into why we're wearing tinfoil
Exactly,
hats
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Saturn rings, I don't know if you've ever told this story, but have you ever told the story on here about when I was sending you your own content?
Yeah, I
had
did.
no idea
Did you
you
not
had-
listen to that episode?
Yeah, I did. I just didn't remember. I haven't missed a single one. You know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
with
think you
Lyle and
mentioned. Yeah,
And here
it
we are.
was, Yeah,
Yeah.
And here we are. Amazing.
And here
Full
we
circle.
are. And yeah, besides fashion, I think we should probably say why we have this.
Next.
We thought, what better thing than an episode of conspiracy theories?
So we did the little tinfoil hat action.
And Savannah kind of doesn't know any, so
Yeah, I'm new to this
gonna
conspiracy
educate
world.
her.
yeah, we're gonna educate
We
you.
came prepared.
if you're listening, now's a good time to hit pause. Go put on your own tinfoil hat.
Yeah, do that or
And
Join
we're back.
us.
And we're back. So we thought we would do some of our favorite ones, whether we believe them or not. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Maybe, we'll convince you. But we wanted to see if we could convince Savannah that these are 100% regular, good old conspiracies, not theories.
But they're accurate. Like,
You guys know what the
Yes.
difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is, right? Mm-hmm. 6 months.
Oh my God.
There we go.
Okay. We were
This is
already
why
getting
Bailey put in a
canceled.
closet.
Yeah, this is why you're not on the show.
But I am today.
Oh my God. Well, and
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Lindsay and I, we had some years of looking up conspiracies at night, sending them to each other, going, "Oh, can you believe this one?" And we're prepared. It was harder to
We're
narrow
locked and
down.
loaded.
You guys have been preparing all week, huh?
For
So-
my whole life.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
didn't. I mean, we this is a common discussion. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to just document my facts down in bulletproof form. So
Oh yeah.
For anybody who thinks Gaggling Broads just goes off the cuff, it does not. There is preparation that goes into this.
Well,
Yes.
sadly, yeah. It doesn't look like
Blood,
it.
sweat, and tears.
It takes a lot to look this random.
Okay, that's true. But the other person who hates my conspiracies is Bailey.
I don't hate them.
he believes him.
Yeah.
He
I
has
just
no
get it
choice.
from you and my dad at the same time, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to take in.
That's true. I think, should we just go full off the deep
We're gonna-
end?
a
Let's
full
go.
send,
I
right?
can't
I think we
Alright.
should just dive in.
Full
Yeah.
send is the
Let's
theme of the
get
week.
canceled.
Fist bump. All right. So the first one we're gonna do, Savannah,
Okay, I'm ready.
is we never went to the moon. I don't know if you know this or not, but we did not go.
Okay.
So I know you learned about it in school, but there's several reasons why we actually did not go.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with my bullet pointed list, and Amy and Bailey, go ahead and chime in when you need to. So the first point would be, if we did go, why haven't we gone back? Is the first. I mean, like, I guess that's probably my biggest question in all of it, of like, things have come a long way.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say.
Like,
Well, what year? Wait, don't kill me. What year did we go?
It was in the 60s.
We went
Okay.
to the moon in 1969.
Let's just go
There's a
with
song.
let's just
I
go
think
with
it was-
69
yeah,
because it's the best
so-
year in the
okay.
60s.
And that was from Even Stevens, if you
So-
anybody remembered.
So it's been like,
It was the musical
Forever.
episode.
yeah.
it's been a long time.
yeah.
Okay, so the other things are, so when you look at like why we haven't gone back and what they say about it, so they say that we don't have the technology available anymore.
Anymore?
I can't say it without laughing.
This is true. This is really
This is
why they
true.
say it.
So
Okay.
they said that they accidentally destroyed the technology that it took to get us to the moon. This is like what the government said.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, per my Google research
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I was going to
Instagram.
ask. So you guys like
Oh,
found
I
out this
like I
information?
went through. Like
Okay.
I Wikipedia'd, I Googled, I YouTubed, I got all my things.
Okay.
I saw at least
TikTok.
2.5 posts on Instagram, which is plenty for me to prove that it's true.
Okay.
Right.
That's the amount
You're
of
gonna be
research
asked
I
to
do.
leave.
So okay, so let's get into like nitty gritty things. So technology wise, so here's a good technology thing. So when you watch have you ever watched any of the moon like footage or any like videos or
Yeah,
TikToks and
yeah.
you see you know like the little like nerds in there, you know what they did and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's two good points of that. So the first one is like around the technology of it. So if you look at the photos, the videos, there's these guys there and they're all burning heaters.
Heaters is another word for cigarettes.
Ciggies.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know what that meant. Okay.
Darts.
Oh
Okay.
Heaters.
I don't know.
Oh,
Savannah's
oh my God.
an innocent person here. Like,
I
she's not
gotta
going to
go.
know all this jargon.
Well, I'm also
jazz
younger
cabbage.
than you guys.
Thanks, Savannah. You always remind us of this when I'm on this podcast. There is a whole generation between us, so we know.
It's all love.
So they're in there, and they're. So Amy, you're gonna have to put some video up of this.
Yeah,
they're
we
all
need
like in
videos
there.
of
So they're in
pictures.
there. They probably have glasses like us on, but they're all like the black frame ones.
This is
Wearing
when it
the-
was not ironic.
the
Okay,
white,
yeah.
the white shirts buttoned up to their neck, and they're all typing on these like giant ass computers
Yeah.
the size of this room.
Okay.
They have, but the keyboards have like 6 buttons, and like that's how they're flying the shit to the moon. Like,
Yeah.
so first of all, like I have a lot of questions
Yeah.
on that. Okay.
Right.
Picture our nerds today, like nerds in the 60s, not to distract from it, but picture a guy in a tie with a short sleeve white shirt.
Yes.
Like that kind
and
of
like weird
super
buttons on
powered
his shirt.
nerd.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
truly like the picture of a nerd you'd see. That's
Okay.
all it is. It's a
You're
it's a room
drawing
full of
a
like I don't know,
picture,
like
painting the
100 of them in there.
That could have been 1,000. Yeah. I mean, it's a
Right.
huge room full
Yeah.
of
It took
pocket
1,000
protectors.
of them to flood.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one thing. So, but all of that technology was destroyed apparently. So the second thing is when you're looking at so they broadcasted this live. like,
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
news, it was like the
4K.
whole-
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say.
a
Any
whole thing.
picture I've ever seen of them on the moon is so clear.
Yeah,
and
it's
it looks
amazing.
like it's
From
like just
1968.
taken yesterday.
In defense,
It may look like a movie set.
in defense,
Weird.
in defense,
It
there
might
is
be.
for all the
movie
other
set.
40-year-old dudes. Once you hit 40 as a dude, you start taking an interest in World War II, and there is a thing on Netflix, World War II in color, and that feels like you're watching a movie too. So you can doctor footage a little bit. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to make this complicated.
I know.
Okay.
But
It's
they
your
couldn't
specialty.
doctor it back
then.
then.
I'm not,
No.
listen, I'm
Yeah.
just saying. that
Did you see people's teeth back then? You think they like?
They needed some.
You know what I'm talking about?
All right. No, so
They were
here-
not-
okay. So there is a distinct thing that is memorialized in this, and one of them is President Nixon, who was the president at the time, and he
I'm not a crook.
he calls them on the moon through a.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people might not know what these are, but it's a rotary dial phone. It's where
Was
you
it a
put
rotary?
your.
I just want to let you
Wow.
guys know,
You
I
put
do
your-
know what that is.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you put your finger in it, and you have to like turn your finger all the way to the number. So if someone had a 9 in their number, you were totally up.
I like that my childhood is Savannah's trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
true.
that
It
far
is.
apart.
What do you think? I just more curious on what the number was.
1-800
It was probably
moon.
5.
Why don't we just call it that?
was
Moon.
1-800 moon, and then they picked up, and he's like, "Hello, moon. This is the clearest phone call I've ever had."
And it was
He
like
literally
in
says
real
that.
time. Like it
Yes,
was.
it was immediate.
Yeah.
So, mind you, we are watching today, 2024. You watch Hannity interviewing Mike Tyson, and there's a 36-second delay between them talking.
Yeah.
On the interview.
That might just be Mike, though. In fairness,
That's
He has
true.
a caption.
that could just be. That could be.
Savannah, that
he
could be you.
He could be ahead in time, and Mike would be
You
a
are
little
just
delayed.
a
Sorry, Mike.
tattoo away on the face.
Sorry, Mike.
But there's
this
also
isn't Paleo Ogre.
the they have all those satellites up there. you
Whoops.
You just doxed yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So they launched the new satellite thing, kaleidoscope, whatever it is, but it is this big, powerful, huge ass thing, right? So to even get those photos from this thing in
Yeah.
space now, it takes like 2, 4, whatever days to get it back.
Yeah.
Yet we picked up the phone.
Yeah,
and
how did the
called
phone call
moon
happen?
in 1969? It's
We
bullshit.
didn't go to the
fucking call
moon.
the
No, we didn't. We,
Man, it's full
right.
convert.
Here's other points, okay? So, Buzz Aldrin, one of the astronauts in there, he, in a press conference, like, this whole heated up, like, several years ago, and he was at a press conference, and he's a very religious man.
Okay.
So they said, Buzz, can you swear to God that you landed on the moon? And he refused to do that. Not 5-6 months later, he was at an event, a school event with children,
Yep.
reading a book about the moon. He says to them, "Oh, what are you reading about?" And he goes, "Oh, how you landed on the moon." And he goes, "We didn't land on the moon."
Oh.
yeah.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, he was just joking." Okay, wasn't joking. There's also things about the when they landed on the moon. There's this whole thing of this video of Neil Armstrong.
Yeah,
getting out
and
of
who
the
took
space
the
track,
picture?
right?
Yeah.
He's jumping out of there. There's a camera perfectly placed.
Who?
Who? And they were like, "Oh, it
Yeah.
was from the spacecraft." It's
Savannah just nailed my favorite question because I picture just your average like NFL sideline cameraman. So I picture a dude like they're in spacesuits. I just picture a dude in cargo
Yeah.
shorts with like just the helmet on. They're like, dude, we don't have enough budget to get you a
Yeah.
whole
Right,
suit.
right.
Get out there with just your cargo shorts and this camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's some guy named Mike at a dive bar somewhere right now. Be like, I was actually the first man on
Right.
in Flagstaff.
in Flagstaff. Allegedly.
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 So speaking of flags, right? So the flag, the
Yes.
thing. Okay, so there's no gravity on the moon. Mm-mm. How did that flag stay thing?
Well,
stay
not only that,
sideways?
not only that, there's wind. And the atmosphere, it's like more of a vacuum, so it wouldn't be moving.
Are we erection shaming the flag?
We are.
I don't know if it's in.
It was very excited to be on the moon.
perfectly placed.
Yep.
And then they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it was moving because they were touching it." Yet there's photos of it moving and they're not near it.
Even them bouncing around on the moon, that got me confused too.
There's things. So if you watch there's a lot of there's actually one movie. So you said there's one coming out. There's another
Yes.
one that was there's like a YouTube show that was made about it, and they actually reenacted kind of like the motions of them walking on the moon with. They said it was like a studio, and they were like on bungee cords, like jumping up
Yeah.
and down, like on a trampoline and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
the same movements of like how they like kind
Right.
of jerk back and forth
Yeah,
and things like
okay.
that.
And the movie you just mentioned, I think it's called like Fly Me to the Moon with Channing Tatum. It's like a big cast. And I'm watching it and I go, oh, are we just like, this is what we did with aliens? Hey, where's aliens, guys? Surprise.
Hey.
We didn't go to the moon. Surprise.
So there's other
Channing
things.
Tatum was a male stripper on the moon in that movie.
Maybe that's why the flag was so upright.
Distractions.
So this also, so from a history perspective, this was going on during the Cold War. So there's a lot of talk about it being, it was the United States was desperate to like show their dominance in technology and things, and it was like a race. There was a big race between Russia, Soviet Union, and
Pretty much us and them, yeah.
In China,
I wasn't the greatest student.
first. And so we were like desperate to do that at that time. So they did
I
it.
think, too, for morale of the country. It's like what brings people together more than you landed on the moon. Like, we're number one.
So then you go kind of
Back to back World War champs, baby.
Other things. So there was multiple different interviews of people in like the space stations. Obama did an interview during his presidency, a press conference, talking about like space research and all these things, and they kept referring to that we can't go past this low Earth orbit in space.
Yes.
The moon is past that.
Correct.
So they're saying we physically can't get past this area.
That was trending for a while.
Yeah, and so it's been multiple, so I watched this like whole thing, and they recapped every single thing that has referred to that. There was 2 presidents that had referred to it. There was multiple interviews of the people in the space stations that were referring. Like, we're doing this for the technology to advance it and this to be able to get past this low Earth orbit in space and like all these things. But then you go, like, there's a lot of suspicious things around it too. So this kind of ties into some of there's like a Challenger conspiracy as well, like around did it really blow up with all its people on it? That gets a little dark, but we're going to go right down into the rabbit hole on that one. But there is multiple suspicious deaths from people who worked with or into the moon landing, and then also the Challenger piece as well. There's some ties together.
Okay.
So there was a Fox Entertainment Group did a kind of documentary thing, and they actually listed the deaths of 10 different astronauts and 2 civilians related to the crewed spaceflight for Challenger. Some of them had also ties into the moon flight as well. There's another video they talk about there was a big cover-up of this, and they show these people, the astronauts from the Challenger in particular, and they show them like where they're actually still alive.
Like jobs with have
like,
long-standing jobs in certain places
like
and look exactly like them
at a university or teachers in somewhere.
And aren't the names really close?
So some of them use their middle name, and then they were like, but 3 out of the 7 people on the Challenger were twins, identical twins.
Oh, that's even weirder.
Is what they said, but it wasn't talked about before that.
Right.
So, but if you look through this list of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of the 12 on this list all died by ejecting from a plane during a flight exercise of some sort.
Well, I mean, that's pretty common, though,
have you seen
right?
Boeing?
Yeah, that
recently?
happens. Oh, God. Whoops.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there's a
Boeing.
conspiracy with that one, too.
From being ejected from a plane.
We love Boeing and American
and they were
Airlines
all
very
the
much.
same type of plane, this T-38 plane. There's another guy.
Note to self: check the equipment.
Killed in F-104 crash. Killed ejecting from
So
T-38.
none of it was like in their sleep peacefully.
One of them, the most important and key one was they died in an automobile collision with a train 6 days after testifying before a House subcommittee on NASA oversight.
Oh, that sounds unlikely.
Savannah's going to have nightmares. This is just the first one.
Yeah.
This was an incredible amount of research. I didn't know what I was
Seriously, you
stepping
came
into.
prepared.
I had to write it
Oh
down.
my god.
I
Don't
thought
give
it
me
was
a
going to
task.
be.
Buckle
I
up.
underestimated
Buckle
you guys. I thought it was going to be like 3
Yeah.
little bullet points, and then
This is what's sad because I always like talking about this one. I like talking about any of them that make people uncomfortable. That's my favorite.
Okay, well, mission accomplished.
But this one, I go.
Are we moving?
Even if we
It's not even
didn't go,
uncomfortable. It
I
just
just go
is
with
like-
this. Even
it's
if we
like-
didn't go, the reason why they did it, that's fine, right? Like,
Yeah, but then you would be admitting that that thing
So-
that brought all the country together was fake.
Was
that
fake.
But
probably
what I said
accomplished
was,
fake
if we
news.
didn't
Yeah.
go,
I mean-
fine. But also, like, can we not? How can we not go back? If we can't go back, great. Like, but also maybe go fake it again. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
we could
okay,
kind
I
of use
have
something to come
I-
together again. Let's go to the
Go
moon.
fake
but
it.
here's,
Let's
Yeah.
go,
here's
baby.
my question: is like, don't you feel like Elon would have
He would have
gone?
gone
I
already.
do
To the
believe.
moon?
So this is take this for what it's worth because I've done no research. I'm pretty sure most of NASA's funding has now gone to
Moon
private
research?
companies.
Yeah.
Well, I can.
SpaceX being one of them. I don't know if they're the only one or more.
Well,
but we've-
NASA also. My next subject is doing a big funding.
Okay.
For,
A lot of stuff.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well-
so
So-
that's topic
Solid.
1.
Topic 1: Did
An
we
incredible research
did
job.
we go to the moon?
okay.
Who knows?
I won't give any feedback until the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you already said like
I feel
You're
like.
right. You're right.
2 points into the 12-point
feel-
soliloquy that you were sold. And
Do we feel
I
like
didn't change
we
my
go
mind.
with another sad one?
No.
What is it?
Sad one.
Or like,
Well, not sad,
All right.
but or
Which one
I think
are
we need to
thinking
pick
of?
me up after that one.
Yeah, let's
All
do a
right.
little
Do we?
yeah,
Should we do it?
yeah, let's do
All
that.
right, should we do The Simpsons?
Yes, let's
Okay.
do The Simpsons.
Okay,
I think you sent it to me too.
I sent you one of the things. I have a whole list in my notes right here.
Oh my god.
Nice. I told you. Bullet point highlighted.
You
know
guys,
what?
for those of you who are not watching, she has a
Share that list
ebook
with me really quick.
of research.
How far do you have to scroll to get to the bottom of that? 'Cause
Right.
there's no way
The
that's
Simpsons
whole
was
thing.
the first one that I did. Because that was kind of, I felt like,
Yeah, that wouldn't have
I was
fit
like
on
texting
a
Amy and I was
poster
like,
board.
this is like
No.
a
No.
easygoing topic.
I'm picturing that meme of Charlie from Always Sunny with like all the lines going everywhere, going crazy. That
I
should just be
would
the
have
cover
loved to have
photo
brought
for
like
this.
a display board,
Yeah.
a whiteboard
Yeah.
drawing out
Oh,
why we
yeah.
did
All the
them.
red
You have a
string
ruler.
going to all the different points.
Yes, that would all be it.
All right, what you got,
Okay.
Ames?
Oh
Well,
man.
who's going next?
So we should. I
Do
don't
you have
even
the
know where.
website one. So there's like current ones, there's older ones. So I think there's like a broad spectrum of things on it on this list. So I think we should explain why
The
we
premise.
picked this one.
The premise of
because
the Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons.
They predict the future.
Yes. And there's a whole thing out there of, is it convenient timing or is it something else?
Aren't they always like way in
Well, one
advance?
of the
though?
Yeah.
theories.
Some of them are closer. Some of them, most
Are a
of
little
them
far.
are further apart. So it's very strange. But when you look back at what they're showing,
Like the Siegfried and Roy one was back in 1993. They literally did the whole thing, and
and it was literally spot on. The tiger
Right.
attacked
I mean,
the
two
right
dudes
person.
playing with tigers every night.
But
that was
why
bound
didn't
to
it
happen.
attack the other guy in The Simpsons?
I mean, it was a 50-50 shot. It's like a coin
No,
flip.
that's what I'm saying. So like they chose that one conveniently for The Simpsons that happened. So
Rest in
there's a
peace.
whole list of like different things of what they, but it's like it's a lot. There's crazy things that you can go way
the
deep
submarine is insane.
Do we have a list of some?
Yeah,
let's go through the list.
Number one.
Number one.
I think number one is number one because when that aired was a million years ago, was Trump being president.
Yeah,
This
that
was
was
before
crazy.
like
It was like 2010, 2008.
like he's still doing
he
The
was still being-
Apprentice.
yeah.
Like
He wasn't in it, and they went along with it. They used that for quite some time. Though,
Yeah.
him as president in multiple things.
Right.
So we talked about the Siegfried and Roy thing. There was this is a weird one. It was a little bit sketch to me. So in 2008, an episode aired about voting machines being rigged.
yeah.
And in the episode, it had the voting machines were casting the wrong vote. It was the Obama and John McCain election.
Yeah.
And they were casting votes for Mitt Romney in this episode.
Oh, so a non-candidate.
In 2012, that happened where they were casting Mitt Romney was
Right.
running then. Remember, he dropped out in 2012 for that election.
That's right, in the primary.
They were casting votes
Right.
for Mitt Romney. Like
Yeah.
it was like you would select McCain and it would pop up on the
Okay.
screen.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
Mitt
like
Romney.
a very weird,
That's a lot
like,
of detail.
how.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's a weird. It's a 4-year difference, but like
But in fairness, they probably. I feel like they probably know 4 years in advance. Until Trump, you probably knew who the next one up.
Yeah,
was.
but that's like a
Right
very
now.
particular, like,
It's
voting
Just so
machine error.
specific, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So
My favorite on here is in 2005, there was a
Was it?
submarine episode where it wasn't like 3 rich dudes went down in the sub to literally go see Titanic?
Wait, this was in
and
2000.
Lisa was with.
Yes, that's right.
And it,
So 18 years in advance.
Yeah.
or-
Yes.
Yeah.
But like it's like the same like
yes,
and
the
then
video.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't watch
Disappeared.
The Simpsons.
disappeared.
I feel like there's like a dozen. I usually find out about them from Lindsay. Lindsay's like, look, they did it again. That happens at
So-
least 2-3 times a year.
There's in 2007 they had an episode where they talked about the NSA, and so everyone knows what NSA is now because of things that happened in 2013. In 2007 they showed this NSA episode and they were spying on everyone, listening to everyone's cell phones, listening, like watching what texts they were sending, emails and all these things, and people were like, what the hell, like this is insane. 2013 was the Edward Snowden thing that came out, and then the government had to actually acknowledge that the NSA
Yeah.
did exist. And then,
Oh, was it a mystery then?
it was still
Oh,
a
okay.
mystery.
It was a department that was like, oh, that's not real. That's not real. That's not real.
Oh.
This doesn't exist. Okay.
Savannah's never going to go to
Savannah, do you
sleep.
feel like you're getting an education tonight?
isn't-
Like
yeah,
I
it
do?
I knew I
So I was
would.
like going through this list and I was like, this is alarming. So in 1997, they aired an episode about Curious George and the Ebola virus.
That was before.
Before in 2017
Oh.
when the Ebola virus happened, which conveniently
Yeah.
was the 20-year anniversary of the Curious George books.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
1993, there was an episode that talked about a contagious flu that spread, causing everyone to have to stay at home. And then there was mass riots caused.
Yeah, but I mean that could happen. No, I'm just kidding.
That one to me is insane.
Allegedly.
'Cause
In
that's-
1993. That's weird.
Don't forget, we still weren't at the moon yet, too, in 1993.
This is true.
Still correct.
1998 aired an episode where there was billboards everywhere talking about Disney had owned or bought Fox
Yep.
Entertainment. That actually happened in 2019. People were like, it's a convenient thing because Fox was like, Disney was buying everything, so it was just like
And the
whatever.
Simpsons is on Fox, right?
1995, they aired episodes of them using smartwatches that look eerily similar to Apple Watches.
That's what we found on the moon.
That's true.
2003.
The Apple Watch. It was just sitting up there.
In 2003, there was an episode where Donald Trump was president. So clearly my timeline is off there. Donald Trump was on there. He was meeting with the Saudis in this episode. And there is a distinct photo of him with the 2 Saudi princes, and they're holding this like globe thing.
Yeah.
This is 2003, mind you. So fast forward 2018 when he's president.
The exact
photo exists.
even the
Exact.
like the globe they're holding.
The globe they're holding, everything. They develop like, so there's talk about this Higgs boson, I'm probably saying it wrong, particle. In The Simpsons, there's an episode where so this was like a newly found formula, or I don't know, math's not my thing, guys,
Yeah.
so like whatever. But where they talked about this formula that predicts, I don't even know, you'll have to
Isn't it time travel or
I don't-
dimension or something?
I don't know, something like that. But like 15 years before that was came out, they had it, and it was literally only one character was missing in the Simpsons episode from the formula. And this formula, you guys, was like 900 things long. Like if I saw that on a math test, I'd be like, I'm out, dude.
Some Goodwill Hunting stuff.
Yeah. So that was kind of my list of the Simpsons things.
They're not wrong. There was a couple, like...
I bet you there's a lot of little ones, too,
There's
that just... because when
innuendos.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the question. So it's why?
why not? Everybody watches The Simpsons.
No,
And how?
no. Like, how? Not why, but, like, is it a time traveler? Is it... What?
Their writers are?
It has to be. It can't be predicting because they're spot on.
Yeah, 'cause
like
that's
predicting is like
too-
what you think will happen, not what you know.
And it's like,
Like some of the
years
things,
ahead.
like the Trump photo, like all that stuff, like that's weird. Like that's just like a too weird.
Well, so is Trump being president. That was weird.
Literally.
But there
like,
was another one they saw with the Philadelphia Bridge. That was in the
Oh,
Simpsons.
yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah, the-
Baltimore?
what
Was it
collapsed?
was it
I thought it was-
Baltimore?
Yeah, it's the
it's
Baltimore
called...
Bridge collapsed
Yeah,
in
okay.
The Simpsons. Same freaking bridge.
Yeah.
Just got mowed down
and it
by
almost
shit.
looked like the same barge. It's the same
thing.
colors.
Yeah. Like it's not. It's that's the thing. Like it's
Maybe, was that like a
very
bridge that
weird.
almost got hit every day? You know what I mean? Like people
Not
were just
like
like, we
that.
should have
Not
made
like
this
that.
bigger.
Not
dude.
like what
But-
just happened.
Yeah.
Not
No.
like when a boat drives into it.
Yeah, not when
Head
it's
on.
like, oh,
Yeah.
whoops, where's the
Whoops, I
black
can't
box?
steer.
It's not here.
It's missing. I
Buttigieg
turned
is
it
all
off.
over it. They'll have that thing rebuilt
So-
in no time.
Yeah, so Savannah,
there
do you have any
swinging on
questions,
swings.
Well,
concerns?
I feel like I just took in so much information.
Yeah, this is drinking from a
That
fire
was
hose.
a lot. My brain is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what we chalk it up to be.
Just rank them 1 and 2 right now in your head.
Okay.
Well,
Between-
I guess, but the
okay.
question about The Simpsons, is it a conspiracy like they know the future, or is this random?
No, it's not random.
That I feel like
It's not,
those
it's too
things,
specific to be
It's
random.
too specific to be random.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be a coincidence. I mean, if it was like 2 things.
Yeah, but it's a list of how many like.
Well, and like I guarantee you, there are 20 that we didn't list. that-
Right.
Oh, there's like
There's a
you
lot.
Because
Google
you
that,
just picked the like.
everyone should Google
Okay.
it. It's like or YouTube it. There's multiple things.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy that
Hard.
rabbit hole, Gaggling Broads universe.
You're welcome.
Hope you don't need to sleep for the next couple days because you are going to be on your phone.
I
Looking
probably
at the
will.
moon landing.
I'm gonna
Shit
dive in
didn't
deeper
happen.
later.
Yeah, you'll be up all night.
Yeah.
Savannah's gonna look at those nerds landing on the moon.
That's true. Well,
Probably.
one that I always like to bring up, because I'm not going to lie. Actually, this is just facts. I'm just going to say it. You can Google it. You can look it up. Whatever. Good old chemtrails. Do we all know what that?
I don't
Allegedly
think, I think that
is.
some people don't know what this is. Though.
Well, I didn't know what it
Because
was a
certain
week ago.
states don't have it, and a
Yeah.
lot of countries don't
Why don't
have
you give
it.
a little background on it for those of us who don't?
Yeah.
So sometimes when you look in the sky, not every day, not every plane, certain planes will leave a trail where it looks like 2 or 3 or 4 streaks.
or sometimes just one straight.
Or
line.
one. No rhyme or reason.
We get
I
a
feel
lot
like
of
I've never
one-ers
seen
around
that.
here.
I've
Right.
only no.
What? You've never seen air?
I don't
Okay,
think so.
Savannah's off the
Savannah doesn't look at the sky.
show. Savannah, she's
your job.
she's concussed.
This is
You guys, I have to look down to watch where I'm going.
Savannah's learning too much. They keep giving her concussions.
Yeah.
Hopefully, she forgets all this stuff you guys are telling her.
So Bailey, you were mad at me the other day because I was trying to convince my mom of this, and now she's calling me, going, "Gosh dang it! I saw chemtrails in the sky. Does that mean it's going to rain in 2 days?" And it always does.
Poor Mama Kraft.
But why? Like I don't understand.
Dude,
why
She's on
it
board.
rains.
She,
2 days.
hey,
Just dropping
she's come
last
a
names.
Long way. She's
true.
advanced
That's true.
from when I came into the picture.
Oh no, my mom is the one losing sleep. But anywho, so
She'll be watching the moon videos from the stairs.
oh, she'll be calling me tomorrow and going, "Hello, we didn't go to the moon."
Hello, moon. I mean, Amy.
Yeah, Amy. Oh, sorry.
I thought I was talking to the moon.
Yeah.
The rotary dial too.
And then she's in the middle of binging Simpsons. She's like, "I need to be prepared."
I
So
gotta see what's gonna happen next.
I have an issue with chemtrails because I have a weird memory, and I remember learning about them in school, in elementary school, because we grew up in the in the burbs of Chicago, so we were near O'Hare, and you would see planes all day long go over, so I knew what those were. And we had, I remember in elementary school, we sat down, we were talking about weather, and at the time they did call it chemtrails because there was a way to engineer, like, and modify the atmosphere for weather.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's 4 different types. I got a deep dive on this.
She has her notebook out, everyone.
I do. And so I remember learning about it. And then, like, fast forward, it's the good old COVID years, and you're on TikTok, and you're like, oh, what conspiracy can I look up now? And I read this chemtrail one. I'm like, well, that's not fake. That's, like, why do I remember that?
Yeah.
So did some research. They changed the word. It's called geoengineering. So everybody hears about it, and it's
Who
in
made
a.
that up? Bill Gates.
Funny you should say that. He's one of the major foundations involved.
I mean, he's got the most money. That's who you go to.
He buys chemtrails and farmland.
Yeah, that's about it. So, I'm trying to.
He's got to water him.
That's true.
We're just gonna leave this up to chance? I don't think so.
That's
It's got to grow that tofu, baby.
He had to give away his money in his divorce.
For
He's got,
sure.
more
Only half of it.
farmland.
Yo, so this.
She's my hero.
Hey, excuse me. So they started making, like, this process back in the 40s, and then they had a lot of the UN, like, meetings with other nations, and then in the 70s they implemented it. The United States is the only nation that has continued to do a large-scale campaign for this. So other nations, like Europe, doesn't want
Outlawed
it.
it?
The only countries and countries that said yes and are currently still doing it is Australia, China, India, Russia, US, and UK. Everybody else says no. There's a ban.
Do that list again.
Australia, China, India,
China.
Russia,
With a Y.
US, UK. 6.
Okay, those are like 6 of the richest countries in the world.
India.
Like, I'd be surprised if you're like, Mexico's leading the way.
So
Yeah.
what they were saying, the funding's like what they want. Okay, so the reason, this is where it gets creepy.
Weird.
So originally they wanted to do this geoengineering back in the early 1900s is because they claimed, their scientists, that the earth was actually cooler than what it should be. So they wanted to modify our atmosphere to kind of bring more warmth into our atmosphere to warm our earth.
Why don't they blame global warming?
We
on that
did
shit?
do it.
Okay, this was back when it was called chemtrails.
Cool it off. Warm it,
It
up.
changed names in the
Turn
late.
thermostat down.
Hey, it changed names in the
cold.
late 90s.
Who
so it
changed
went-
it?
Well, yeah, it was.
Who changed the name? I
As
know you
soon
have
as we
it.
started talking about global warming and climate change and the things we were seeing, I went from chemtrails to geoengineering. So
Yeah, because chem is not like.
It doesn't sound
chemtrail
good.
It's not a like. People associate that with like chemicals and like
Mm-hmm.
all those things. Geoengineering is like a like.
well, it's kind of like how
scientific.
global
Sounds
warming switched to climate change.
Well, and I'll age myself here, but before it was global warming, it was like, the ozone layer is depleting.
Yeah.
And before that, it was acid rain. And before that, it was.
And so what they
something
were
else.
saying is
I'm
back
so
when,
old.
well, let's say
That's fine.
back when this was started, like all the scientists were all against it, saying like, nope, we don't know what this is going to do. What if it has more of a microwave effect? And then, you're throwing off a whole ecosystem. But what's funny about it is such a conspiracy and all labeled like misinformation. But last week, Tennessee banned chemtrails over their skies. Same with Pennsylvania. So, like, if we're doing these bills and all this, like, how can it be fake?
Well, you got to ban it before somebody does it, right? Link?
So, not only that,
What's in the What's in the
So-
geoengineering?
there's 4 different types. They do marine cloud brightening. They do
Is that
serious
like bleaching?
Probably.
Yeah, that's
They were like, give you a
Everything.
shave and a bleach.
Let's get everything. Let's get everything just the color we want it.
They do cirrus cloud thinning, and then they do
Oh.
stratospheric aerosol like patterns, like what we see, so it can help produce snow and rain.
I like that we've gone the
And they-
aesthetic route with nature now. Like,
was
not
gonna
just
say,
our
this is
bodies.
so
And
no,
they,
it's-
yeah, and they
this is
call
great.
that
Right.
cloud seeding. So, like, for example,
seeding.
last year, and this is me looking up on, like, it was like MIT and like another government, and a government page. But
Real life
last
things, like not we didn't. This isn't
this is
like YouTube or
so
TikTok
real
University.
that last year in January of 2023, Biden signed a bill for increasing funding going to this project for the next 5 years, and it was 220 million. And then that's where
That's like in their couch cushions, though.
correct.
We
Which-
need more. I want more shade in
I
Arizona.
think just like any good, my issue isn't that it's happening. Just don't say it's not. Like, it's great if you can make rain and snow. Let's go. Like,
You know,
But why are they saying it's not happening? Like,
Because, well, I think there was like some things about the chemtrails, it's chemicals into the, so they were saying,
Yeah.
what does this do to like the, like crops and things like that? Like all,
Our
what's
bodies.
the
Okay.
impact on that?
have you ever seen
on that?
Jurassic Park?
yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
It's
god.
like
we have
that.
a bunch of
It's like, just don't do it, dude.
colossal
Yeah.
raptors running around.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think. Like I said,
Colossal raptors?
Colossal.
Those will smoke a
Holy
velociraptor. The colossal
Okay.
raptor. Way bigger.
Whatever it's
Wouldn't it be
called.
funny if the Velociraptor was actually really small? It was like that one that
It's like
spit on that
little
dude.
llama that does-
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are nuts.
This is amazing. I didn't
right.
know all that.
Yeah, and the first cloud seeding ever done was 1946 over New York.
You know what I
And
thought
then
was
it rained
funny?
2 days later.
And so that's my theory, and I've been doing it probably the last 2 years. Is Arizona, like, we don't get a lot of rain, and and you usually don't have clouds. It's blue skies. So every time I see a lot of them in the sky, I always in my head go, I bet it's gonna rain in 2 days, and it always,
always
does.
does. Okay.
So we'll
Always
see it
does.
like over by. It's like they run them across like the where like the 202 is.
Yes.
So they run it over there, and like you'll see, and so like and they do it in the morning. So you'll walk out in the morning, so because our backyard faces that direction too. So like we walk outside, let the dogs out. I'll see them up there, and I'm like, oh, they want to make sure it's not like crappy weather the next few
Yeah.
days, so they're up there doing their work. But like, yeah, like you will see them out there like frequently.
Like today, driving, not one.
But I like my favorite part of this whole thing is when you were describing how it started for you is in growing up in Chicago and their cloud seeding. Like if there's any one place that didn't need crappier weather, it's Chicago. Like
But were they
gotta
trying to
know.
do that to like were they trying to seed clouds that could essentially like alter the
Yeah,
flow
it's
of
not
the weather,
necessarily.
right?
It wasn't necessarily for rain. That's just one type. There's
Yeah.
It's
other
just
ones.
gray there for
So
8 months
do-
at a
No,
time.
my
They just
thought was
overdid it.
solar. It's called that one. It's called solar radiation modification, where the sun it'll beam back.
What? How do you know all this?
I
She
know.
went to
I feel like I'm
MIT.
meeting this woman for the first time right now.
Listen,
This is incredible.
We said conspiracy.
And Amy
That
and
doesn't-
I got to work.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I wrote down 2 other ones, and I don't think we can do those bad boys. If that's
No, this is. I don't know if the listeners are having the same experience I am right now, but I'm
well,
I'm
they're probably
impressed.
tuning out and going unsubscribe.
Yeah, probably.
These bitches are crazy.
Yeah. Jeez. Great. Another podcast about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, right.
No, but like I said, I don't care. I just don't like when it's like, no, you're stupid for thinking. I'm like, you literally, it's
That's what
you're
I said.
passing bills.
I said, what's the difference between a conspiracy and the truth? 6 months.
So
Except
I
in the
think
Simpsons
but I think
case,
this
that's like
is a
20
good
years.
topic because it people have like talked about conspiracy theories have really ramped up like right in the last 4 years. 2020 hit,
Yeah.
shit hit the fan, and everyone's minds just went all over the place of like what's going on, who's doing what, whatever. So I think what it happened is it's conspiracy theory, but I think people are actually like opening their eyes to like maybe
Asking some questions.
asking some questions.
Yeah, that's
I-
fair.
I-
Looking
Digging a
at
little
some
deeper.
stuff about
That's
like
fair.
you're not believing things at face value as much as you used to, and I think that
Yeah.
that is where things kind of like you kind and maybe it's also maybe more of a generational thing too, where like I'm gonna be 39, you're 41. you're a baby.
29.
You're a baby. So I think that there's a sort of a generational thing where we grew up with the internet, right? Like we grew up like if you have a question, you go like figure it out. And so I think that that's also where things have come, like where it's internet's, everything's at your fingertips.
You definitely see a lot of that, and especially pushback from legacy media is like, oh, you do your own research, and they like mock it. But at the same time, now there's access to other information, whereas like even 30 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago, if it wasn't on the news, it didn't exist, right? Or are you going to get maybe some crazy guy down on the corner, but that guy stood out as crazy.
Do you think that's a reason why a lot of the, like, because when I think like angry conspiracy people, I always think of people over the age of 50.
No, there's a lot of young, angry conspiracy people.
No, I agree. But I'm saying, like, where you look at their anger, I'm like, oh, you're hurt by this. And I think it's because they grew up believing 100% of what they're told in school and the news, because they didn't have it. And then now it's like, you know, like you said, 2020 hit, we're all freaking home, and we have something in our hand.
And
like,
we're having cocktails at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
If you feel like you were drawn down the wrong road for a long time, and all of a sudden there's all these dissenting opinions, you can go two ways. You can either accept it and it's going to really anger you, or you can wholly reject it and make legacy media like a deity religion to you. You just believe anything they tell you.
Just
Either
feel
one's probably not good.
I'm about to say, I feel really bad too for they just like whispered one day, hey guys, aliens are completely real, gotcha. And then you just think about all those years that people were like, no, like I saw it, and like now like you think I'm nuts and all this, and it's just in 30 seconds they just go, no, it's real.
Oh, they ruined people over. They saw, oh, this person's insane. Then all of a sudden, 60 Minutes comes out. It's like, oh yeah, aliens are real. Here's a bunch of videos. It's like, whoa, okay. What about? Should we go find those people and apologize?
So now the news cycle, right, is it's like a 24-hour big
and
thing,
it's sad.
Right? It's a 30. It's 3-4 days max, right? So the bridge thing, like the Baltimore bridge, that's a good example of like something happens. It was a huge thing. All the like your news alert on your phone goes off, like, oh, bridge collapses or whatever. It's gone the next day. No one gave a shit anymore.
How about Maui?
Yeah, Maui, great example. That's a great example.
I swear, 2 days.
Yeah, no one cared. So it was a whole thing. Everything that's happened is a very short span. But I think that's also why, like, we, you know, as kids, I don't know if you guys grew up, like, your parents watch the news at night, right? We don't watch the news. Like, we don't. It's, like, I actually, like, turn it off because I feel like there's nothing of value if my kids are home. Like, there's nothing of value for them to see on there. And I don't want them to see that. Like, because it's nothing that's good. And like I also watch it and I'm like, I don't know how much of this is real or fake or like not accurate or like whatnot. And it's like it's just like not a value for your kids. And so I think that's like that's the other thing too, right? Like we will, if we have a question, we'll go find our own information.
Yeah. That's how I do it. I don't think I've watched the news in like 2 years.
We will randomly put it on, like, especially local, as a joke.
Yeah.
There's nothing good on it. Like, at least do, like, a sad story, good story. Like,
yeah, it's all sad.
It's all, like, horrible.
It ruins your whole mood.
Sometimes we'll watch, like, Gutfeld or something. But even then, like, I just feel like it's everything is turned into, like, it's always an argument. And I feel like they always talk about the same shit over and over
again. And I always like when people are like, well, where do you get your news then? And in my head, I'm like, I don't think I look. Like, you know what I mean? When you say, like, where do you sit down and get your news? Like, I don't actively sit down and go, what happened today?
You don't have to anymore. That happens organically now by you scroll through social media on a daily basis. Yeah. And you see what's trending. It will pop up. Like if something bad happens, you're going to pass through it on your social media feed in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's someone like reposting something or whatever. That's how people will get their news now, which is a little bit unfortunate for certain things because like it's not always accurate. It's also not always like the full spectrum of the story. Yeah. So I think the whole thing is just it's an interesting time. What a time to be alive, right?
And I think
What a
too,
time.
that's why, like, with this, like, just all these conspiracies, like, we're all just sharing it. And like 2 second, like, I can go open TikTok right now. It's probably 3 people going, "Hey, guess what I thought today?" And then they like whip up a new conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But the thing is like about like some of them, like people will put a bunch of stuff out there, but some people have like very real details that like you're like, you're right. Like I got a lot of questions now.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
the Simpsons thing was something that like I was like, okay, yeah. After like thinking of things to talk about, like, of things to bring forward, like I was like looking and I started like, you know, pulling up the list online or pulling up the videos of people talking about it, and like my mind was blown by that. The moon landing thing, like that's like,
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
husband,
I
like,
think
that's,
everybody
like,
should watch the preview for that movie coming out, because it basically, it's weird. It like just plays to it perfectly, to the point of one person saying, "Well, how are you going to get everybody to tell the same story?" And like the woman goes, "Well, we know where their family lives." And it was like this weird, like, because it's true. If someone threatened my family, I'll do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the moon landing too that at one point I didn't cover was during that time there was like a big movie that came out, and this big movie producer was on board for that. And there is a lot of information that he produced the moon landing, and there's like big facts like around how it was done and all these things, and he denied like until you die, right? So he still says he didn't do it, but there's just so many things like, they've released like little tidbits, like, because people are like, oh, it was filmed in Flagstaff. So like my husband and I joke a lot, like we've been to the moon, right? There's a
It
place
looks
in
just like it.
There's a place in Flagstaff called the Cinders, and people have said that is where they filmed the moon landing. So that all came out, and then NASA came out and was like, well, we did training there because the Cinders is this like old volcanic area.
Yeah.
It's old volcanic ash. There was a volcano that erupted there hundreds of years ago.
Okay.
And if you're up there, like there's all these like off-road trails, and it's a big kind of destination for people off-road, but like you can go up there, and it looks eerily similar.
Yeah,
Like,
I
to
remember
the
seeing
point
those
that if
photos.
it was filmed at night, like you would see the mountains in the background would look like what they filmed on the moon.
Interesting.
And they said that that was the only place in the U.S. that we could practice, because they had the same, like, that volcanic ash was the same material as what's on the moon,
Gotcha.
which that's weird. It's
That's a little sus. I don't know. Okay. I thought from the beginning.
dig in, Savannah,
Yeah.
to TikTok tonight.
I
You'll
feel bad,
down
man.
the
I was gonna go
rabbit
down
hole.
the Antarctica rabbit hole too.
I know you guys came with multiple
We have so
and
many more.
research on multiple.
We have so many. Amy has some really good ones.
These are juicy.
Oh, you know what? I know you're thinking. You're thinking Hollow Earth.
I am.
Yeah, you want to know a fun fact? Do you know they just discovered an ocean underneath our second mantle that's more water than all of our oceans combined?
No.
Define what you
Wait,
mean,
when did you find
mantle.
that? Where did you find
So, like,
that
you know,
out?
like,
when
Not
did
in your
you find
house,
that
not your
out?
house mantle.
No. Like, remember in school we learned, like, here's the Earth, it's a globe, and then there's the core, and then, like, the crust, the mantles.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All that, like, it's just rock.
So like
But out of nowhere, they're like, oh, whoops, we found...
a hidden
I wrote
ocean.
it down.
There's an ocean.
There's a
there?
hidden
There
ocean.
is,
So we're not going to run out of water, is what you're saying.
so it's a
Well,
different
that's
type of
what I thought.
water. It's not like a normal water.
It's gel.
It's gel. Okay. So on March 30th, 2024, they tapped into the rock layer of the
This was
Earth's
soon.
mantle between the lower and upper depths. It is
How did they
between
do this?
250 miles deep to 410 miles deep.
Yeah.
So
how did
That
they?
is
How
deeper
are
than
they-
any of our oceans.
I have a lot of questions.
and more water. Don't even get me started on that sinkhole in China.
I haven't seen this. Oh God.
Wait, I want to know how they found that.
They were
They
drilling.
send like a midget down there and like.
No, I think they did just greased someone up and shot them down.
Baby Bob crawling in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's who the scientists should have been, or the astronauts behind smoking those heaters. But yeah, no, they just found more water there than we ever had.
So.
Huh.
Oh. Okay. All right. I got a lot of questions.
Yep, and my whole thing is, listen, I always believe that movies and stuff we're watching, entertainment, always give us like little tidbits. Think of how many movies and shows, there's always something about what's underneath the earth. Like Apple just did a great one called Monarch, and it's literally about Hollow Earth, where these creatures, like Godzilla-like creatures, live within our world, and they come up through the cave system,
Through your drain.
through the drain,
In your toilet.
the toilet, your sinks.
Have nightmares.
No,
Like
but
going
yeah,
Q&A.
that's why I get my blanket.
Wrap it around.
Amy's
you.
got her blanket over
Oh
her
man,
ear
I
and her
love
neck.
Hollow
yeah.
Earth talk because I go, that would be really cool if it was true. But
Okay.
when they had that cave open, that sinkhole in China, and there's trees and stuff in there like the size of
Wait, there was-
redwoods.
What?
You've never heard
Never
this?
heard of
This was
that
last
either.
year.
No.
haven't heard.
Yeah.
Why didn't you send this to me?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh.
Pretty
okay.
sure.
So there's like
Alright.
a whole nother little like
So,
world within that.
Yeah, it's
you
another
think-
whole ecosystem.
all right. So, if you had to answer the question, do you think the Earth is round or flat?
Oh, please, why would you do this to me now?
Was I am.
This is what's really sad. If
If someone came
if
out
someone
and said it was
if the
flat,
news
you'd
came,
be like,
I would be
"Oh,
like,
well,
that
all right,
sounds
cool."
about right. I'll tell you what, I love the flat Earth people because they have an
are
answer for everything,
in it.
whether it's right or not. They're fully loaded. The only two things I ever went, that's interesting, are the flight routes and that our maps changed in 1958, where they had Antarctica as a complete circle around us.
Oh.
And now it's not.
Now it's at the top, right? Yeah.
So I go,
The
that's a
flight map
weird
thing is
map
weird.
thing.
The flight map thing was the only thing that had me like, because when you said this, I laughed. But the flight map thing that you showed us, that was the thing that I was like,
It's weird. And I think what bothers me about it is there's no one coming out saying this
Why?
is why we do these patterns. Like they've never had a flight ever go from north to south. It's only east to west.
Yeah. That's true.
Why? And why does it line up? Like when it's like Australia to LA to New York and it looks like a jagged like map, but then if you were to put it flat, it's a perfectly straight line. Why?
yeah.
And that's why I said, don't believe it. But that's the only time I go, please can someone come and say,
Explain.
Just
explain.
Please.
tell me why.
Because it's
Yeah.
not always because of airplane hubs. Like
No,
it's easier to say like, well, that's where the hubs are, blah blah blah. Get it? But every time.
Probably not.
But like I said, if they with any of these,
I think there's a lot of things you could ask a lot of questions about.
Yeah.
Like in life now, there's things you could ask about with, is the Earth round or is it flat? Did we go to the moon? Did we?
I think we did not after
people
this
alive? Are
episode.
they dead? Like I don't know. There's a lot of. I got a lot.
You convinced me.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
questions.
And I have no problem saying that. What are they called? Not chemtrails. Now they're.
Geo-
engineering.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a thing, but
So I think that thing, the part that I think people should also know is like there's videos of them talking about like why they're purposefully cloud seeding.
Like I
things.
said,
Like,
we
so
Yeah.
that
we
will
learned
have,
about
like,
it in school, watching
things,
videos,
and
and
so-
like
right.
they were
And
proud
there's-
of it.
And there's a whole military unit around this, like around cloud seeding and like weather management and
They
things like that.
they were talking about, I think that it was, I forgot the amount of money, but it's like stated that I think it was 2 years ago, whenever Colorado had their drought, like the Colorado River had the drought, they literally did cloud seeding to help for the drought.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great.
So I think where people with the contradiction to that is like, so then how do we still have these like major weather events? So, okay, but that's a good question, right? So like, you talked about the people who are doing it and everyone else who's not. So some of the major weather events have been in places that are not doing this, number one. But then there's still been major weather events in places that are doing it. So if they're doing it to control the weather, how are they not able to control these catastrophic?
Right. Okay, that's a good point for sure.
Huge hurricanes.
I wonder,
things like that. Why are they not able to do that?
What if it's not necessarily like the clouding seeding aspect, but what if it's a response to changing the Earth's temperature this way, this quick? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because with climate change and everything, what everyone is saying, yeah, like I said, allegedly for all this, because, like, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. Yeah. I just go, they say the Earth warming and then, like, seas rising and all that are causing this. But what if, like, one of the side effects of creating our own weather changes the temperature?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, maybe if the whole world was in on this, maybe things would be more even with weather. But what if, like, we're doing something over here, but it's going to affect Europe, but Europe's not doing it?
So what I think it probably likely, like what ends up happening, like my thought on this is, like, so they're creating things to counteract the jet stream, essentially, right? So, like, so if they cloud seed, right, it's going to pull the jet stream a certain way to, like, induce rain, because that's how, like, you get your weather. El Nino or El Nina, or whatever it is, like, all those things. Like, so if they're doing these things, is it pull the jet stream in different directions? But then then the jet stream, it theoretically, Earth is round, it goes around in a circle, it's going all around. So if we're impacting it in certain ways, is it then very reactive on the other side in other places?
What's the famous, I shouldn't say famous, it's probably just a fact. What's it, like, where it's so like, listen, this is the group that didn't know Goldilocks and the Three Bears, okay? We couldn't figure that one out. No, but what's the saying, like, everything has an equal or opposite reaction, or everything with school was not my thing.
Me neither. Somehow I managed to have a good job, but until they listen to this and they're gonna be like,
so did you
VP role? Sorry.
Whoops.
You're not.
No, I just, like I said, I think what we've learned over time is whatever we do to modify nature, it's gonna fight back.
Yeah.
Well, there's
it's gonna do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
You can't control everything.
Well, and then the weird thing too is that certain states banned it. So, like, there's
because I think there was, like, part of it, there was a big thing about what the chemicals they were using to do this and the impact on the agricultural, the animals, and people. And so I think that's where some of the bans start to come from, of, like, you're spraying this in the sky, where is it going? It's not being completely absorbed in the atmosphere, like, so it comes down.
That's true, because the clouds are...
What's the impact on humans, animals...
So if these are, like, modified clouds, like, that
then
rain...
you get some weird-ass rain coming
Yeah, what?
It's the acid rain. Like, that's, like, it all... I don't know.
Do you want to know any of this? Like, if you were like, hey, I would love, like, you have 3 wishes, and you're like...
I mean, it would not be one of my 3 wishes, but, like, I got a lot of questions, but I'm also, like, a person that, like, I want to, like... If you tell me that you, like, Jay always makes a joke, like, if you have a question about something, like, Mom will find it on the internet in, like, 5 seconds. It's true. Because, like, I get something in my head and I don't have an answer for it, I am going to find that effing answer, whether anyone likes it or not. Like, I will get stuck on something, but that's just also my, like, personality. Like, so I think for me, it's more of, like, I got a lot of questions thing. Like, and
I always think of that Tom.
But I also then, like, if someone answered the question, like, do I really believe them?
Well, like, I just
That's
think
my
of,
problem now,
I
too,
guess
so.
the only way we would ever believe it is like in that National Treasure movie at the end when the president tells Nick Cage, he goes, oh, you're going to the library. He's like, look at section blah, 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 blah. And it's like the presidential book of secrets where it's all the information in one book. Like, here's the truth. You're the president. You're a part of this code.
But then
I don't know if I would want.
What the president doesn't really know everything. The thing, like the UFOs, that was not privy to presidential knowledge.
It was the JFK.
Yeah. That brings to one of the most theories that I was going to talk about.
And to Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. And Lady Princess Diana.
Yeah.
We'll have to do like a
There's
part
so
two.
many things. Like if you, the problem is it's like it is a black hole.
It's
You
a
could
black.
dive
It's
into-
let's just call it. It's an addiction.
I think
Yeah.
it's more
I
of,
get
like,
my fix.
If you are like you have an inquisitive personality and like so you're like I'm like, well, tell me why. And
I was
then
say,
get
I
mad
was-
at my kids when they're like,
Yeah.
well, what is this to them? I'm like,
I was
But,
definitely
like,
that
you're-
kid and
yeah,
still that
you're
person.
just, like-
Why?
Yeah, like I need to know why. And then I'm like, well, why can't you tell me why?
Yeah.
And then
All right,
there's me.
Savannah. So to
And
recap,
there's me.
what do you? So you heard about moon landing, chemtrails, and The Simpsons. What are your thoughts on the three?
Flat Earth, Hollow
And
Earth.
flat, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. We didn't even
Aliens.
get to touch the surface on that.
Mm-mm.
Well,
That's like its own pod.
Next time
I
somebody's gonna.
definitely
Gonna order
don't.
some more tinfoil hats.
You had me in the beginning of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we went to the moon. No.
We're converting one person at a time.
My husband will be so proud.
But those are all like so like I feel like they're obvious things that you brought up. Like, and
But
I've thought of a lot of those things.
a normal person's not like going that deep into like
Yeah.
Google like it is you can go way far in.
Mhm.
But I did notice, so it was funny when I was like Googling it. When you Google like reasons why we didn't go to the moon,
Yeah.
everything pops up now like on Google of here's why all the conspiracy theorists are crazy, like all
Yeah.
these things.
Oh,
and then
really?
even on Wikipedia, they added the reasons why things have been debunked. But some of them, like some of the points I took were from Wikipedia because I looked at their reasons why it was debunked and it was all bullshit. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not even like,
Yeah.
that's not even an accurate statement.
Huh.
So I think like when you start looking at it, the average person isn't like they're like gonna Google it and be like, oh well, this says that we didn't,
Yeah.
that it's true, like whatever. But if you start looking a little bit further and like, I think for me the convincing things were some of the videos, and then if you start piecing things together, like
I feel like
the
a lot
press
of
conference
people-
things of saying we can't go past.
That
this
was my
space.
thing. Once, the one thing you didn't say that I remember I laughed. I was like, oh man. When they had a photo of like the footprints it's like
No.
up in space.
Okay.
And then they showed the astronaut suit and it's a completely different boot. Like completely not even
so the other-
close.
did I
See,
see the
you guys
point?
should
Okay,
have
the
pictures.
biggest point. Okay, so one of the big points was when they blasted off, like taking off from the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that was recorded. So what? They just left some camera there, and it's like magically live streaming back down to Earth. Number one.
Yeah.
So when they blasted off, so they had these like supposed rocket boosters, which Jay is like, how did they even do that? Like,
Right.
how did that go back?
Right. Like
that
it
doesn't
just
make sense to like.
look how
with
much
the
it took for them to
technology.
get here. Yeah.
So that piece, they blast off. So it's these fire rockets like blasting this little saucer off the ground, and there was no disturbance in the dust. Okay, nothing from when that happened. Yet right next to it, their footprints are still there.
Yeah.
And so when they're
Yeah.
like, when people are like, well, why didn't it leave a mark? And they're like, well, the flame, like energy,
Well,
and
and
the
it's-
zero gravity, and like
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
things, and you're like, there's
That
no
doesn't-
dust,
Well-
there's no dust, but it would still leave an indent in the ground, you would think.
Uh-huh.
But there
Yeah.
was footprints that were perfectly left there. it just
And it didn't even match the suit.
no
That was the part
and
where I
they
went,
said that the
come on,
suits
guys.
were not made to like manage the oxygen needs
Yeah.
of it. They like there was videos where they said they didn't even have like oxygen on them. Like there's just
And I
it
think,
goes way into
and then like I said, I think when that famous interview where when the guys come back and they all just
Oh.
look like, what the F? Like I'm just thinking, like, dude, you just went to the moon. You just made us first. Like, there is zero, and like, they look
They're
like
all
either
like,
they
"Shit,
saw
we
a
have to lie."
ghost or something.
Well, if it goes into the UFO thing, there's like recordings when they're on the moon supposedly, and they're saying that they see people watching them.
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic because there
Whole
is
nother topic.
there is the other thought. Oh man, this is bad. We're gonna get canceled
Rabbit
immediately.
hole.
Not even canceled. Everyone's just stop listening. But there is the conspiracy that they did go, and why we don't go back is because
There's aliens all over the place.
that's not ours to have.
Yep. But here's the deal. I'd be okay with that.
I'm cool with it.
I would love if that's what happened.
I'm cool with it. All of them. All these.
Yeah.
Just. I think I laugh at them because,
Show
like I
me
said,
the
the
videos
pushback.
of the aliens there.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Diddy videos. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Oh my
Show
God.
me the videos.
No, we're not having no Diddy. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
No Diddy combo here.
So, no, show me the videos of like the aliens out there and like I'm
Yes.
good. I
Yes,
wouldn't go back
please.
there either.
Mm-mm.
I'd be like, listen, fist
Like I
bump,
said,
I'm
that
out.
their expressions had either they saw something and they can't talk about it and they're terrified, or shit, I have to lie now the rest of my
I
life.
think it's both.
It could. It
I
could
feel
be.
like it's both.
I'm
Like,
like-
I feel like maybe they didn't go and they didn't realize what they were getting roped into.
I'm more. They didn't go,
yeah.
but 20% of me could believe the
I
alien.
think if we have gone back and they just didn't talk about it, it's because there was aliens.
I
there.
think
They were
too
like,
that
"Listen, homie,
as
this is not
Americans
your
we're a
shirt."
little naive too. Like China and like other countries, like they have space programs. Like they have, like
Yeah.
if China didn't figure it out and go, I don't believe it. Like there's no way that they didn't try to go at least second.
Or like Kim Jong Un, like that crazy motherfucker. He's gonna try to go to space where they like.
That's
somewhere.
true.
Like him.
It'll be
Putin,
his would be
What is
fake
going
though.
on?
It'd be
Yeah.
a fake station. You can knock it over. It's cardboard.
slaves.
Yeah. No, like that's what I'm saying. Like that one, I kind of just go. This just it'd be fun
It
to just
doesn't
tell
make
us.
any sense to me.
But
All right. Well, that was a good conspiracy discussion.
nice little
That
session.
was fun. I learned a lot. My brain kind of hurts a little bit, but I'm also going to dive deep into TikTok videos tonight.
I know. I feel like we should. Yeah, that was a lot.
It was good.
All good fun.
All
We
right,
can
well,
escalate it though next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back.
I know. Hubby had the dip because it sounded like one of our children woke up. But
The aliens were moving out there.
yeah, the other little aliens, the little other UFOs.
Body snatchers.
That's true. Well, everybody have their blanket tonight. You'll have your cocoon with all your pillows.
No, we're moving in the right
I'm
direction.
going to go
We
rest
found a
this,
pillow.
this
Well, for
concussion
now.
head.
We found it for now.
Okay. Goldilocks found a pillow.
Goldilocks is happy for now.
We
We'll
love
see.
that. We love
Alrighty. Well, we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.